Hello, pet parents of Regina or wherever you are. It is me, Olivia, and Lee again here today, bringing you another Furry Friday. We kind of have an action-packed Friday this week. We got a lot we're talking about.
Yep.
Before I forget, if you see us looking back and forth, we have Facebook on our left and TikTok on the right. So if you see us looking back and forth, that is why. Also for the Facebook viewers, we are still trying out our microphones, our wireless microphones. So please let us know how you find them, if they're helpful, if they don't really help, if the sound is cutting out. We're still kind of trying to work through all the technical errors and stuff like that. But yeah, so for you guys this week, we're mostly going to be talking about ailments for supplements. So instead of saying use a supplement for this, we're going to say you want to know what is good and calming, and we're going to tell you kind of all the good little ingredients within that. So using those ailments. But we also wanted to show you guys our Halloween treats that we got in from Chester's. The second package finally came today, so we have tons, and they are super, super cool. And I just remembered I didn't grab all of the new products, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we got all three of them. Okay.
All three of the Halloween ones.
I just missed the waffles and that. Okay, so what Lee has here is these are the Chester's treats. If you guys don't know who Chester's are, they're made in the USA. They're a completely natural brand, so they have no preservatives in there. But all of their ingredients are completely natural, and they're kind of almost like a supplemental treat-ish type of thing.
Yeah.
If you use them for quite a while, you'll notice minute differences. But it's not like any like open farm supplements where it's like an actual supplement. It just has benefits because of the ingredients in it. So what we have here is the coconut. Super, super cool packaging. This is what it looks like. Super, super cool. And what's in this one? So this one is coconut flour, coconut oil, applesauce, shredded coconut, banana, raw goat's milk, vanilla yogurt. And then it's really, really good for skin and coat, anti-inflammatory, probiotics, and a healthy gut. So that is how much is in there. Somebody's asking how much to give their dog. So I would say up to 5 pounds, I think it says, is one treat. Up to 15 pounds is 2 treats, and up to 25 pounds is 2 treats. So go from there. And it, like I said, it is kind of like a supplemental treat, so you can kind of play with the numbers. But yeah, do you want to show them the next one?
Yeah, so I've got the Halloween mix. So this one has 3 different treats in it. So I'll just show these over to the other side. So it's got lavender, charcoal, and pumpkin. So the lavender one has chamomile, lavender, coconut flour, banana, applesauce. And then the middle one, the charcoal one here, has, of course, some charcoal, cinnamon, turmeric, black pepper, really great. And the pumpkin one has pumpkin, marshmallow root, black peppercorn. So these ones are great for calming, as a muscle relaxant, anti-inflammatory because of all that great turmeric and marshmallow root. So those are those
Also,
ones.
look at the back.
Oh yeah, the colors.
You guys, it is so cool. I love how bright, and all of the colors are natural too, so
Yeah.
it's not like there's any dyes or anything in here. Completely natural. I also forgot to mention they're very big on like zero waste,
Yes.
and they're very eco-conscious. All of their packaging is very eco-conscious as well. But yeah, super cool. This is definitely, I think, my favorite one out of the 3 that we have for Halloween because you get all of them. It's so cool. And then we got, so usually they have their super greens, which is a bunch of greens put into a treat. But instead for Halloween, it's actually their monster greens. How cute is that? So we have our little Frankenstein on the front. And this is what they look like. Super cool in the color as well. And this one for the greens has wheatgrass, kale, moringa, spinach, broccoli, alfalfa, spirulina, cabbage, parsley, pandan leaf, like such cool things. So now the next 2 items we're going to show you from Chester's, we've had them before. But the waffles is a new flavor that we haven't had before, and they also changed their packaging. But what Lee has right now, we have had before, and it's sold out like that because it is super, super cool. So take a lead.
So these are the Chester's toppers. So just a topper for their everyday meal. These ones are super cool. They're the cookie and cream flavor. I'll just show each camera there. These ones are awesome. They have healthy probiotics because they are made with goat milk. They're great for your teeth because they have the activated charcoal and coconut oil in them. They also have turmeric, so they're anti-inflammatory. They're just really great for like sensitive mouth, sensitive teeth because they have that activated charcoal and the coconut oil and the turmeric. So we're getting kind of like inflammation plus plaque plus all the good mouth stuff going on for them.
And these are really, really cool because this is pretty much a 30-day serving for a dog. So all you need is literally a teaspoon a day. You're gonna throw it onto the food. And I always suggest adding a liquid in because it is kind of like, if you hear it, it's like a little like dehydrated almost. So just by adding in that liquid, we can kind of soften it up, especially too if we have any dogs with sensitive teeth or not many teeth at all. But yeah, super, super cool. When we saw this, we were like, we need to get cookies and cream into the store. Last but not least, you guys, we have waffles for dogs. Super, super cool. So as you can see, they're literally just bite-sized waffles for dogs. That's all. And if you've been with us for a while, you would have seen that they would have came in almost like a little canister with all the waffles topped on top of each other. This is just a different packaging. I personally like this one better because you can see the waffles. But yeah, so this is their bacon and honey recipe. All of their waffles focus on joint health because they all have glucosamine in them. So bacon is obviously just super good because it's bacon. But the honey is Manuka honey. So if you guys don't know, Manuka honey is like regular honey on steroids. It is like the uber superfood of all superfoods. It's really, really good just for overall health. But if we're having almost like a kennel cough, we can mix it with a little bit of milk thistle, and it just kind of helps soothe the throat and the GI tract. It's just like one of those foods that is super, super good to add in every single day. But yeah, super, super cool. And I forgot to mention, but with all of their products, except for their balms, we also have their balms. We've had those for a while. You want to use them within 3 months because there is no preservatives and it is completely natural, right? So once you open the bag, keep it in the fridge and they only last 3 months. Other than that, you guys, we have our list again because we cannot forget anything. This is our handy dandy list of stuff that we got here. So yeah, we are going to be talking about just kind of different categories of supplements like antioxidants, cardiovascular, calming, tummy issues, meal enhancers, like just kind of like stuff like that that will help. So yeah, which one do you want to start with?
I can start with digestion.
You want to do digestion? Okay.
Yeah,
let's kind of, we'll read through them and then we'll kind of talk about why they're good in a sense for that category. So,
all right, so we'll start with digestion. So great things if we're having digestive issues, if we want to support the digestive system, if we want to do something preventative, would be to add in some prebiotics or probiotics, slippery elm, pumpkin, sprouted seeds, Manuka honey, greens, and milk thistle. So that's kind of our list. And we have some samples over here. But to highlight kind of what I just said, the prebiotics and probiotics are kind of like what I recommend the most for digestion. Just because if we're thinking about the gut, we want to think about it as like the center of our dogs or cats' immunity, the center of kind of what we normally think of some of the issues like itchiness or allergies. So when we want to support the digestive system, we want to support it with prebiotics and probiotics, adding in that really good bacteria, those active cultures. Prebiotics kind of set the stage for the probiotics to do their good work. So we want to always have, if we're giving a prebiotic, we want to have a probiotic with it. We can give a probiotic by itself, but we don't really want to feed a prebiotic by itself because it won't have much effect. Because it only sets the stage, it doesn't do the work. The probiotic's the part that does the work.
yeah.
We also have slippery elm on here. Would you like to talk about slippery elm?
Slippery elm is just kind of like one of those good things that, of course, it does help. I'm just starting a different point. Sometimes when we have a weak stomach, it means we have a weak immune system. It also goes for vice versa. So if we have a weak immune system, we can also have a weak stomach. So by doing slippery elm, it's kind of one of those things where, yes, it helps the immune system, but by helping the immune system, it also helps the stomach. Especially if your dog gets easily triggered by environmental factors, anxiety, stress, stuff like that. Their immune system can be significantly weakened, and that's the same for humans as well. Like, I know I started taking a probiotic because I found out I had stomach issues, and I realized some of it was some environmental stressors. Like when I have an exam coming up, my stomach is just a little bit more wonky, right? Like it's just how it is. And even now, like I take a vitamin C supplement about like once a week just to kind of help boost me up, because I want to make sure that in order for my stomach to be at its best, my immune system needs to be at its best. So that's kind of it. I don't know if we grab it. No, we did. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, other than that, we have a video coming out on pumpkin. So stay tuned for that. It's pumpkin, like we always suggested pumpkin, and I've always known pumpkin is so great. But when you really look at all the beneficiary factors of pumpkin, it is crazy how much one thing can do. Obviously, like it's really, really good for digestion. Pumpkin or winter squash, same kind of thing. Those are really, really good. Florifor's ground sprouted seeds, I put those on there because it's just a blend of either like lentils or it's like chia seeds and Brussels sprouts. So those are really, really good as well. Manuka honey is another thing to kind of go with the immune system. So just to make sure that we're balancing it out. And even like, I don't know, it's gone now. Never mind. Don't mind me. Greens, the same kind of thing with the immune system and the milk thistle as well. So, right, like if we want to make sure that if we're having tummy issues, do we want to kind of boost it up every now and then with an immune supplement? Kind of just good overall, all around.
Yeah, kind of like what I was trying to say with like your gut is kind of the center of attention a lot of the time because it's connected to the immune system, it's connected to your mood and stress and all these other presentations. And when we take a look at the gut, we're kind of taking a look at everything.
Yeah, and we can almost look at it as it's like for both humans and dogs and cats, your stomach is like your second brain. It controls so many things and affects how you feel and what you're feeling. So we really, really, really need to make sure that we're on a probiotic. You can do it every day. You can do it every now and then to regain balance. But I know for me, doing it every single day is amazing. And if I'm having an off day, double up. It's completely okay, right? So
yeah. From there, we can easily slide into our immunity checklist.
Let's go in.
Yeah, very, very smart transition there. We have on the list, we've got omegas, mushrooms, milk thistle again, pre and probiotics, bee pollen, bovi colostrum, cranberries, berries, spirulina and greens, manuka honey, and turmeric. So again, kind of like some of the same things that we had talked about with digestion, just reapply to other areas of the body, including the immune system.
Especially when it comes to like seasonal allergies. Lots of people, when they say seasonal allergies, we're like, okay, what is happening? Because sometimes when people think that their dog is having tummy issues and it's seasonal allergies because of the season, it actually just comes down to the food. So when we talk about allergies in this sense, we are talking about environmental factors like dust, dander, it's just the air quality. That's all, right? So by doing some bee pollen, this is what we do. We have the Live Strong. We also have the Northhound Life one. Just helping boost up the immune system. And even if your dog isn't sensitive to allergies or like their immune system isn't very weak, just add it in the fall time or the springtime, because it's not a bad idea, again, just to boost it up, right? Especially as we get from that awkward transition, especially where we are, from warm weather to super, super cold, and then you go super, super cold to really warm. It gets a little bit tricky, right? So we got to make sure that we're boosting ourselves up enough in order to support ourselves. And a lot of these too, like, switch them up every now and then. If you're on open farms calming for a little bit, switch it up and do Omega Alpha's Easy Rest. Switch it up. Keep that gradual transition in between, right? Because yes, we can build a tolerance to each and every supplement, but by getting that variety, every single supplement has different levels of everything that's in it. So then we're just completing a complete and balanced meal. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, preventative is so important, and the best way to prevent the most amount of things all at once is just to gradually introduce new things and switch everything up, and just don't worry about focusing on a specific, like, oh, I'm so worried about allergies coming up. That's okay. We can definitely incorporate something for that. But if we're already on something else, just keep it up. Keep it in the rotation. Add something little by little. You don't have to worry about it being a big, scary window of knowledge that you're worried about making sure you're getting all the right things. Take it easy. Take it slow. Your dog and cat will be happy too, because they also need nice slow introductions, and variety is the spice of life. So.
And I know Carly too, like I'm pretty sure every single day Zane gets a different supplement. Not because he has any issues, it's just because she wants to use them as preventative. And that's completely okay, right? We don't know what they're feeling. We don't know if they're lacking one vitamin rather than the other. So just by getting that healthy rotation in there and trying something different all the time, it's great. You can always have anywhere from 1 to 4 on the go and just do a different one every single day, or do a little bit every single day, right? Like it's totally up to you guys. So, Okay, let's go to the next one.
So the next one is joint support. So some of the items in joint support would be greenlet mussel, glucosamine, shark cartilage, hemp oil, turmeric, bovine colostrum, and MSM.
Yeah, so on my little list here, I don't know if you guys can see this, I have the last 3 kind of bolded. The reason I have that is because, yes, all of these helps with bones and joints, but the last 3, which were turmeric, bovine colostrum, and MSM, they really, really, really help with anti-inflammatory within the bones and the joints and the cartilage, stuff like that. They will help a little bit in other areas for anti-inflammatory, but specifically in the joint support area, these will really, really help. And a lot of supplements that we have, yes, they do overlap a little bit, but they all kind of have little different things here and there, so you kind of get that good variety. And if we mention a brand, we're not saying you have to stick to that brand, right? It's whatever you can get wherever you are, right? Like I know some of the brands that we want, we can't get because they're in the States or Australia or wherever, or you could be in the US and you can't get it because it's from Canada. Whatever it may be, right? Just find a good brand that you know and you can trust, and you can go from there. So how much glucosamine is okay for a Doberman with hip pain? That would depend on the supplement. That's when you have to go specifically to a brand and figure that out. I don't know. This one. Yeah, see, this one doesn't have glucosamine in it.
This one is the Glucosapet. So I just grabbed quickly the Omega Alpha Glucosapet. It is their like bone and joint supplement, prominently composed of glucosamine.
This is like their medium grade or intensity one. So they have Easy Rest, which is kind of like on the low for like maintenance almost. This is kind of like we're starting to see a little bit of problems. We just want to help support it. And then they also have an upper one as well, which is like chronic care.
So this says between 1 to 10 pounds would be half a teaspoon. All the way up to 51 to 100 pounds would be 2 teaspoons.
Yeah.
So anywhere from like half a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons depending on weight. They have that kind of outlined here, but just as like a gauge for this one. But like Olivia said, it all depends on the product. Like the hip and joint supplement from Open Farm obviously has a different scheme. The way that they've put in their vitamins and minerals and the level of
the formulation, right? Yes. Every formulation is different, and although they may have similar ingredients, no one is ever going to be the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are really, really good. Okay, so next the calming, I have hemp oil, passion flower, chamomile, valerian root, and ginger root. We don't have a ton of calming supplements here. The ones that we use most often are Easy Rest from Omega Alpha and the calming from Open Farm. So I was kind of just going off of these two.
Yeah.
But do you have anything to add? I don't know.
No, I just, with the calming, sometimes it can be a little bit hit and miss just because dosage, like we were talking about the dosage before, dosage can be a really big factor in calming things just because every pet has a different stress level, meaning they have a different need for different levels of herbs to help them calm their system. With the open farm, they're in chew form, so it's really easy to do one chew and then try. If that's not really working, you could give like 1.5 chews and just gauge that sort of thing. I find that pet parents know their pets, and you know like how stressful your pet is and when they get anxious and when they don't and stuff like that. So I feel like with the calming supplements, find something with hemp oil in it, or the chamomile, and just try it out with your pet, engage and see kind of how they're feeling. Just because, just like us, some de-stressing strategies that work for me might not work for Olivia, and what works for her might not work for me. So it's kind of very pet by pet, I think.
100%. And I should mention too, since we're on the topic of hemp seed oil takes 2 weeks of repetition every single day in order for you to start seeing results, at a minimum 2 weeks. So lots of people, when they come in, they're like, oh, well, I heard CBD oil is going to be really, really good for my pet because it's CBD. And that's where I'm like, okay, we need to pump the brakes a little bit, because we can do that, but it's not going to have an immediate effect. If we want something more with an immediate effect, that's where we would go with the Easy Rest or the calming. Lots of people in that sense, then they'll be like, okay, I just want to do this to try it. Because the 2 weeks can be very scary at times, right? You're trying this product, and if it doesn't work, it might not work, right? Just like we said, something might work for me and not for her. So just kind of keep that in mind, especially when you're looking for hemp seed oil. And if you are, find like a pet grade one. Don't, as much as we support our local distilleries and whatever, don't go to them for that advice, because dosaging could be really different. So we want to make sure that we're kind of in that proper area of what is pet and what is human. So okay, do you want to read the skin and coat one?
Yes, let's go for skin and coat. Next would be things like your omegas, which are kind of like what we would get out of fish oils, and sea kelp, hemp oil, coconut oil, and greenlit mussel.
So a lot of these are just honestly fish products, right? Or anything that is a little bit more like an oily substance, and we want them to ingest that. Like, yes, we can put coconut oil on the outside of them and stuff too, but we say a lot of the times if we're having trouble on the inside, we can't just put it on the outside and hope for it to work, right? We need to start at the root of the cause, which would be the tummy, and get it in there and do it. The Open Farm supplement in the skin and coat, we heard really good things with that one too, about the skin and coat, where nothing has worked. Super almost like dandruffy, dry, gave a couple of those and like literally solved, and they didn't have to feed more, but they continued because they were just like, this is amazing, I've never seen how good this is before. So for skin and coat, we want to just get those omegas in there. This is kind of one of those things where you can do every day as well, or you can do it every now and then. I know some formulations of foods, they make it mandatory that you add it in because it's not already in their food. But other than that, we want to make sure that we're kind of getting that good rotation. So the liver one, sorry, I just seen a comment says what ingredients is good for liver. Depends kind of what you want to do. Are we having liver issues? Are we just wanting to support the liver? The liver is a little bit tricky in that sense. You could do a little bit, I believe it is the milk thistle. But also we have liver tone from Omega Alpha, but this is a detox formula. Any of Omega Alpha's tone formulas, those are all detox. So if we're having a little bit of liver issues and we just want to clear it out, you would use this. More for maintenance, you would want to use something else. So
so I just wanted to show this just because this is what we were
for sure,
talking about there. And then just to bounce back, we were talking about omegas. We could go with like an oil or something like the Grizzly Algal Plus has their fish oil. For my cats, I always want to support their skin and their coat, keep them from getting too many hairballs, because then they're not shedding or lots of dandruff on them. So I always just like incorporate like a sardine every once in a while, or like make sure that when I'm feeding turkey, then chicken, then salmon, and like always boosting in those fish sources, so that if we're going with something like this on like a daily basis, we can also switch up their food so they're getting something kind of on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah, no, exactly. That was a good point. I meant to write down sardines on here too. And
Yeah.
So next, one page done. We're on the next one. I promise. It'll be a little bit faster from here. Antioxidants. So this one is a lot of. It's kind of similar to detoxing in a sense, but it's just kind of flushing out those bad toxins, right, that are like in the body. So we could do milk thistle, we could do berries, we could do spirulina, and we could do manuka honey. When I mean berries, I'm gonna grab. We use this one from Northhound Life. This is literally just a blend of dried berries put into a supplement. Lots of times we will get to urinary in a little bit. Obviously you use cranberry for urinary, but this is just good for like that overall maintenance. You want to do a little bit of detoxing, but you want to support urinary tract. This is what you want to do.
Yep.
And manuka honey, same thing again, right? Antioxidant. We want to support the immune system. Like the immune system is really like, it helps with all of your functions, right? So we want to make sure that we're supporting that as much as possible. You want to do cardiovascular?
So we've got cardiovascular, which would be things like hemp oil again, fish oils, omegas, taurine, diatomaceous earth, heart meats, and marshmallow root. So we're gonna grab.
Okay, so I grabbed this one. I put heart meat on there because when we're having heart issues, we want to incorporate heart into the diet in order to help the issue. We do have the Bold by Nature. It's
right here.
Perfect. So this is pretty much like the only supplement that we have actually right now that is very cardiovascular pointed at and focused on. There's this one, but this is like almost like you went to the vet, they say that you have issues, you're on a medication for it, but you're kind of looking for more of a natural option. This is what you want to do. For preventative, this is what you want to do. So this is the 4-Leaf Rovers Guts and Glory. It's literally just a bunch of dried organs in a powder put into here. So it has liver, heart, kidney, pancreas, spleen, adrenal, and the thymus. So like I said, if we want to help the heart and we want to heal it, just add a little bit of this in. That's all. And if you're already doing the diatomaceous earth with taurine, you can still do this as well, right? So, okay, I'll show this one first. And somebody also asked why, while I'm showing this, they asked, can you switch the proteins in Open Farm gradually or each new bag? So Open Farm is really, really good because once you're transitioned to their products, you don't even have to transition within the brand anymore. It's just if you're going from a new brand to Open Farm, then you would have to transition. So these are the two. Hold it up for a couple more seconds just so you can see. Perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next.
So next we have cancer fighting. So in all caps with lots of exclamations behind it, we have mushrooms.
Mushrooms! Get those mushrooms in the diet, you guys.
Greenlet mussel and greens.
Yeah, so mushrooms are one of the most proven things that we have seen that help rebuild those white blood cells, which can be very effective or ineffective to the C word, right? So same thing, Carly, every single day. Sorry guys, we're back. Somebody was just calling. But yeah, so although Zane doesn't have the C word, Carly just adds mushrooms in every now and then just as a preventative.
Yeah.
It's just good as well, right? Because if we're fighting the C word, we want to make sure that we have a strong immune system because that can be very damaging. Mushrooms are a big thing in that sense. I'll get to that comment in a little bit. But yeah, so just make sure that you're getting that variety in. You can find liquid tinctures, you can find powders, you can do it from the grocery store. Like if you're cutting up some mushrooms for your salad, put some on the side as a little treat. Obviously, like don't do a whole bunch, but just kind of put enough in there, right? Because we always say with anything, a little bit is better than nothing. So what Lee has here, so...
But yeah, I just wanted to grab, because you were saying tinctures and powder, so I just grabbed the two options that we have for the mushrooms. So these two are the liquid tinctures that you can get, and then this one is the powder form.
Perfect. Okay, so you guys, we're almost done. I don't know if we mentioned this as well, but for cardiovascular, marshmallow root is really, really good as well. So, okay. Next, so we're gonna do anti-inflammatory. So, like we mentioned before with the bone and joint, we had the turmeric, bovine, and colostrum, and the SMM. Those are good for bone and joint specific. But if we kind of want to look a little bit more into anti-inflammatory just as a whole, obviously mushrooms. Mushrooms are super, super good. And then we're going to do SMM and turmeric as well. So we got those. And then detoxing. So if we want to find something where we're having some issues, like we're having a urinary tract issue, or just something in the body doesn't feel right and we want to do a little bit of detox, we're going to do that berry blast that I showed you. But specifically for urinary health, we want to do cranberries. And all of these supplements, I should have mentioned before too, make sure that they're organic as well, because that just guarantees that they're 100% what they are and they're super clean and stuff like that. So keep that into the dish. This is literally just dried cranberry, as you can see. And then last but not least, I have this category because we have some supplements that are a little bit trickier in a sense because they kind of have a purpose in everyday meals, but not all the time. So what I mean by that is I have additions to homemade meals. So what I mean by this is if you are making your food at home and you don't want to buy bones and buy greens and buy veggies and stuff and put that in, you can just get supplements to add those in. So what I have here is bones, greens, berries, vitamins and minerals, and a fortifier. So all of these things will help make a meal complete and balanced. And I should have put a fish oil on there as well because I know there are some some foods that require fish in their diet in order to make it 100% complete and balanced, but they don't put it in their product. What I mean by bones is I know 4-Leaf Rover, we don't have it right now, but we do carry it. They have their Better Bones supplement, literally just a blend of dried bones that you would add into the meal if you don't already have bone in there to kind of help make it complete and balanced. And anyways, bone is just a great flavor source too. Like usually there isn't one dog that doesn't like bones, so get those in there. Greens and berries are kind of a little bit less common depending on the formulation. But yeah, and I see somebody said, can I get this in Toronto, the Berry Blast? You might be able to. We get that one from a Canadian distributor. But the brand is just Northhound Life, so I'll hold that up here. They're Canadian made as well, so you should be able to. I would just go onto their website under their store locator and see what comes up, and then you can kind of go from there. And then I seen somebody ask as well, what supplements to give their, oh, we got a lot coming in. Okay, so what supplements should I give to my 4-month-old puppy? Honestly, at that stage, I would do a minimum of these two. I would do a joint supplement, and I would do a probiotic, right? Because puppies, they are so emotional. That sounds super weird, but they are super, super emotional. 1 minute they're tired, 1 minute they're up, 1 minute they're moving around, 1 minute, you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we are supporting their gut. And I know it's unfortunate too, because sometimes when we get puppies from the breeders or wherever they're from, they're not usually feeding the greatest food out there. So we want to make sure that we're adding a probiotic in to kind of help heal that gut. And then I also say a joint supplement as well, because as we know, puppies grow very, very fast. So we just want to make sure that, again, just a preventative, we're just supporting them so that when they're going crazy, they aren't going to hurt themselves. So hopefully we can prevent that. So, somebody said we love mushrooms. Oh, yes, we do. Yes. We really love mushrooms. Carly is definitely like the biggest mushroom pusher here, but we all love mushrooms. I don't love mushrooms personally, but for the dogs and cats, 100%. 100%. What supplements to give to a 2-year-old Yorkie? Healthy, but very fussy eater. Honestly, I would just say just try different things and just get a mix in there. Do some berries, do some greens, do some joint supplements. Like, just get a good variety going that kind of covers a little bit of each area. Does a little bit of anti-inflammatory, does a little bit of detoxing, does a little bit of hip and joints, right? Like, do a little bit in there. And just kind of see how it goes. And thinking back to it, the calming, I should have mentioned, the calming doesn't have to be an everyday supplement either. The calming can be grandma's coming home and I get super, super excited, but I almost get too excited, so I need to calm down. We're going to the vet. We're going to go to the dog park. Like, just something to relax them. And by no means we're not knocking them out. No, we're just relaxing them. So, yeah. I think I talked about everything. These last few were a little bit faster. We kind of talked about them a little bit already. Yeah. But yes, you guys. So I feel like I'm missing something, but I can't pinpoint it. Next weekend we have Dogtoberfest. So bring the dogs and the hounds in all of the costumes. We love to see it.
And if you have cats, bring your cats in their costumes.
Isn't your kitty coming?
Yes, my kitty will be coming in his costume.
Yeah.
So
it's honestly one of my favorite times of year working here because it's not every day that you get to see a dog or a cat in a costume, right? So super, super fun. We have almost like little carnival games going to be set up. We're gonna have little pumpkin spice lattes for the dogs. We got lots of fun stuff happening, so that is in store. But yeah, you guys, thank you for spending some of your Friday with us.
Thank you.
We still have some October deals going on, so catch those in before it's almost the end of the month. I can't believe it's almost November again.
I know.
I don't, like, where's the time going? I'm not ready for winter.
No.
But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for spending some of your Friday with us. We'll be posting this on YouTube right after, so if you missed anything that we said and you want to go back, we should be posting it right away. But yeah, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are.
Bye. Thanks, guys.